All right, we have 5 tips for getting through the holidays. So my name's Cody Beister. I'm a strength and conditioning coach turned into an online coach as of like 6 years ago. And my job is to help my clients build healthy habits, build a strong and healthy body with proper movement, and to be there for them as a guide and as a coach to give them ideas. Something that I value is our conversations, coach to client, and going back and forth, sharing ideas and brainstorming ways that they can implement new strategies or habits into their routine to get through the quote hard times. And the last few weeks, we've been talking a lot about Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. It's that time of year. And this is a time of year every single year where with my online clients, we're gonna talk about this and help them get prepared for anything. If you wanna get through it, I highly recommend that you get through it with some preparation. Spend some time thinking about the upcoming thing. For a lot of us, when it comes to health and fitness, making change, we wanna lose fat, we wanna gain muscle, and we wanna feel good in our bodies. We wanna be able to look in the mirror and be like, I'm pretty happy about what I see here. And that takes habits, that takes consistency, that takes being aware of yourself and implementing things that you know you need to do. And sometimes you're just choosing not to do, or you're making it harder than it needs to be when it's just, you just got to do it. And so when it comes to the holidays, I have a handful of thoughts here because one, when you think of Thanksgiving food, how often, you might be different, but how often do you actually eat Thanksgiving food? Probably once or twice a year. You know, most people say Thanksgiving and then say like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Outside of that, you're not eating it very often. So part of me is like, if this is the one time of year where you can eat this type of food and not hate yourself with eating this type of food, then I would recommend not caring. And that's number 5. I'm starting with number 5. We'll go through these ones, but I'm starting with 5 because it says accept it for what it is and don't stress a day or two. Honestly, like if you can get through the day, eat those foods, and yes, chemically or yes, they can actually make you feel a certain way if you allow them to. But if you go into that day with some gratitude, acceptance for what it is, and just realizing that like, hey, I'm gonna eat these foods today. Maybe they're not ideal for the transformation I'm looking for myself, but I'm gonna be okay with it because tomorrow I'm gonna get right back onto it. That's why I said a day or two. You know, something I always promote with my online clients, my peeps, is try not to have 2 bad meals in a row. Try not to. If it happens, it happens. You accept it and you move on. You know, at the end of the day, it's about having some compassion for yourself as you go through this journey because it's not easy. Eating clean, eating healthier, especially if you're not eating that way right now, it's not easy to do. And making some changes is going to take some coming up against yourself and coming up against your old self and the things you used to do with coping and whatnot. So accept it for what it is and don't stress a day or two. If you can go into Thanksgiving or some of these upcoming holiday obligation meals and just get through it and not hate yourself for eating that way, then I would say just, it's 1 day, 2 days, whatever. But some of us really want to prove to ourselves that we can get through this. And I've done this for myself in the last, I started consciously eating better back when I was like 20, probably started around 26 to 28. And then really got into it like 29, 30. And I've been pretty clean eating, focusing primarily on whole foods. I just try to eat whole foods as much as I can. That's as simple as this, I say it, but that's what it is. It's just as simple as I can be. It's just focusing on whole foods. And so I've been doing that for a long time. And when it comes to the holidays, there's definitely whole foods there. So a lot of the times I just prioritize like, how can I get through this meal focusing on whole foods, prioritizing that. So that's something to think about. But we're gonna go down these steps here because if you wanna get through the holidays making some good decisions, building some confidence and momentum for yourself as you get through the holidays into the new year and you start this is a lifestyle. I really like when I chat with my online clients and the people I work with, it's like, I really hope that this is stuff that you're gonna do the rest of your life. And you're not gonna revert back to what made you feel unhealthy or overweight or not as tight in your body or toned or not confident in looking at yourself in the mirror. Like all those things are very important things. And getting through the holidays can be one big step in momentum snowball to help you have a good, good time up to summer. Who doesn't want to look good for summer, So you can get yourself some momentum that way. So step one, eat to 80% capacity. There's so much value with that. How often do we overindulge? I do all the time. Like, how often do we just eat a ton of freaking food and not give a shit? Just pound it. And then afterwards, you start feeling really bad and gross. I've been there too. So a good step, eating to 80% capacity. And what does 80% exactly mean? It's up to you. But just don't eat till you're full. If you said 10 out of 10 is full, or 11 out of 10, some of us can push it to that 11 out of 10 mark. Can you eat to 8 out of 10? Like, start feeling a little full, but don't get to full. I think that's a great thing to do with the holidays. It's really, really easy with the amount of food that our families or the people we're with make for these things. People make it's so much food. And so you could go back for seconds and thirds and fourths, generally, based off of my experience with some of the meals I've been to with family or friends. And if I was to focus on eating to 80% capacity, that would help me getting through that day with not overindulging and just overloading my body with an excess amount of calories. So that's a great step. 2, skip a meal or two. Today is the day before Thanksgiving. So this will be coming out, I think I'll post this like next week, the first week of December. But that being said, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. You can utilize this information for Christmas or New Year's or any other holiday obligation meal or meal with people where it's like they're not going to have the best options food related. And if that's something that you want to consciously attack and get through healthily, this could be helpful for you. But skipping a meal or two. So I currently intermittent fast. I've been doing that for a long time, like almost 10 years. Yeah. And I don't eat breakfast. So for me, it'd be skipping 2 meals because I don't eat breakfast, although breakfast is the first meal whenever you eat it, breaking your fast. So I usually will eat lunch and dinner. Now on Thanksgiving tomorrow or on Christmas, if I know there's going to be a lot of food, I'm not going to, as someone that's active, and I say active with just a gratitude that I have the ability to be active consistently, to use my body, and I like to work out and I like to be active. I like to hike and I like to do those types of things. And I'm not going to be focusing on eating to 80% capacity because I'm not right now trying to lose any fat. If anything, I want to gain some muscle and gain some. That's where it really is where you're at. But in this journey, a lot of us are looking to lose fat, gain muscle, and look better in the mirror. And for those of the individuals that I'm working with that are trying to lose some, want to see their abs a little bit better, want to feel their tones, like want to feel their glutes and their legs better, and don't want to gain some weight or afraid of gaining some fat over the holidays, which I, again, accept it for what it is. But again, there's some momentum that comes from following some of this stuff. So if you know that you have a meal coming up, Thanksgiving meal's coming, Christmas is coming, skip breakfast, skip lunch, and just eat that meal and eat to 100%, As long as you're conscious and you're aware of what you're doing, I think that's okay to do from time to time. And to just, yourself better than anyone else does. And if you can come into something with some awareness on what you want to get out of this, I just recommend don't going into it completely just unconscious and just turn into a ravenous individual if that's a potential of yours. Or ultimately, I want to help those that I'm working with and whoever watches this, you just promote positivity. Like how much positivity and positive good energy can you have in your life? And if you go through a meal like this or something and you feel crappy about yourself, you feel shitty, you feel gross, and you're like, I wish I didn't do that. That's something to address. And that's why some of this can be helpful. So skip a meal or two. I would recommend drinking a lot of water. That'll help with the satiation and help you feel like you're not super hungry. Number 3, prioritize protein and produce. I think that's really heavy, like a really good one. You can get a lot of calories and a lot of volume in your body with protein and produce. And then that would limit the amount of just quote, unhealthier carbs, all the cheesy potatoes or casseroles or anything like that. If you want to have some of it, have a serving of it, have a little portion. But if you're eating your protein, your turkey or your ham, generally, and produce, some sort of vegetables, ideally roasted veggies of some sorts, you're gonna limit the amount of calories you're gonna put in your body just naturally based off the volume that goes into your stomach. So that's a good one. And then the last one, I'll talk about 5 again here, but the last one, 4, have a protein shake before eating. Kind of along the lines of the protein and produce. This is just a random idea I've shared with some people. Whoa, and there we go. And it can be helpful to get some, just get some stuff in your stomach before you go eat a bigger meal. And it'll kind of offset maybe the amount of that bigger meal in your belly because you already have some stuff in there. Water could be good too. So those are 5 tips for getting through the holidays. Again, they can be utilized for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, any sort of like get together, reunion or something where you just know that there's gonna be an absurd amount of food. I'd say 50% of it, depending on where you're at least 50% of it is gonna be pretty heavily cooked in butters and oils and all that stuff, which are not bad things. But just in an excess like that, where we just kind of eat multiple meals in a row out of just excess, it's unnecessary. So if we have some strategies like these to get through it, it can be helpful for us. And again, I want to help people feel just good and positive about themselves. And if you go through the holidays and you tend to feel bad about the decisions you make, then implementing something here can be really helpful for you. So I hope you have a great holiday time, and yeah, take it easy.